Was ist Feminismus und wie beeinflusst er unser Leben?
Wir stellen Fragen, die vom Privaten ins Politische überschwappen.
Vom seichten Geplänkel bis zum richtig deepen Shit.
Waterpuns. Schnappt euch einen Drink, lehnt euch zurück und taucht ein mit Feminism by the Pool.
Ja, herzlich willkommen zur Mitternachtsausgabe von unserem Format Feminism by the Pool. Mein Name ist Lea.
Mein Name ist Jane und es ist verdammt geil, dass wieder volles Haus ist. Unglaublich, keine Ahnung, wieso ihr da seid. Wer hat keine Ahnung, was das gerade für eine Ausstellung ist da? Liv Strömquist, wer hat noch nie von ihr gehört? Machen? Okay, jetzt wissen ein bisschen mehr Leute, was
ja,
läuft.
voll. Ich erkläre vielleicht, also das ist, was wir da machen jetzt gerade, ist eigentlich ist die 4. Episode, oder?
Ja, von Feminism by the Pool.
Genau, das ist ein Video, Podcast, Diskurs, Oversharing, Performance-Format, irgendwie so. Und genau, wir haben vor einiger Zeit den Pilot gedreht, also aufgenommen. Der war noch ohne Gäste gewesen. Und jetzt haben wir heute schon die 3. Folge mit Gästen. Und wir freuen uns mega, dass ihr alle da sind. Bitte gebt euch doch selber einen kleinen Applaus.
Ihr! Crazy. Wir haben jetzt aber schon, die ersten 2 Folgen sind über das Buch gewesen. Wir sind sehr, sehr gut vorgegangen. Wir haben das Buch von hinten bis führen bis hinten besprochen.
Genau.
Wir sind sehr privat gewesen, völlig overshared. Und wo ihr sind jetzt eigentlich im Midnight Rant. Ich weiss nicht, ob ihr das wisst. Also jetzt wird's komplett unstrukturiert und keine Ahnung. Könnt ihr überhaupt alle Schweizerdeutsch?
Ja, wenn sie nicht können sie die Frage nicht beantworten. Who doesn't understand Swiss German? Okay.
A couple.
Wer versteht kein Englisch?
Oh shit!
Do we have to do it in English?
Yeah. Do you understand High German? Deutsch? Yeah. Happy faces. Never seen that when I talk about High German. Okay.
Ja, was machen wir jetzt mit dieser Information?
Well, I guess we switch to English.
We switch to English. All right. So just so you know, so this is going to be recorded because this is like a podcast,
but it's also video.
And because it's a midnight rant, you are very welcome to like shout in at any time. If you don't agree with what we're saying, if you have an idea, if you have a thought, if you have an epiphany, please shout in.
If you're drunk,
and
if you're bored.
If you at the end don't want to be published, just come tell us and we'll edit it out. So don't be worried about that. Let's just
feel free now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jane, would you like to tell us a little bit about Liv Strömquist and about this amazing book?
I would love to while I get my amazing drink, which is port wine.
Here it is.
Thank you so much.
Port wine tonic.
This is Philip from the museum. Applause for him. He's organized everything so well.
Cheers.
No, come on.
Cheers. Cheers.
So Liv Strömquist is a wonderful Swedish graphic novelist. She studied political science. She's fantastic. I love her. And in her books, she very, very philanthropically just disassembles patriarchy. It's very, very nice.
We have here 2 symbols of patriarchy also. We have the male gaze, which is watching.
It can see you.
Which is watching us all at all times, right? We also have here
the melting patriarchy.
the slowly deflating, standing up but slowly deflating.
Full of hot air.
Full of hot hair. Es wird in die Luft ausgehen. Je länger wir über Feminismus reden, desto mehr geht dem Patriarchat Luft aus.
It usually collapses at some point during the show, so it's fine. Don't take it personally if it doesn't stand for you guys tonight. It's not you. It's the patriarchy.
This book is im Spiegelsaal, so it's all about mirrors, it's all about beauty standards, it's all about
Kylie Jenner, Instagram,
Marilyn Monroe,
being photographed, photographing yourself, being in control of your own image, your public persona, your private persona. It's fantastic. Read it. It's really good.
So this situation we have now is also a public situation. Like we seem private, like it seems like an intimate situation. We're at the pool, we're just having... Jane, how much do you feel like a private Jane and how much do you feel like public Jane right now?
Really not sure. I feel like awkward Jane. I don't know. Somehow when we started at 8, this was not so awkward. And the later it gets, the drunker I get, the more conscious I am of being not clothed enough.
Okay.
It's not, I feel quite awkward right now.
Yeah.
It's not you, it's me.
So how
Our concept, we decided to do this.
do you feel the male gaze on you right now?
Not necessarily male, I just feel like a lot of gaze. Just a lot of gaze.
Well, there's always gaze when you're performing, right?
It's especially in my segment. Lots of literally gaze. Okay, anyway. Yeah, there's a lot of gaze, but I'm usually much more closed. And it is really not my my expertise is not to be less clothed. How can I say this? I don't usually do this.
Okay, so you would feel more comfortable if you're more if you were more
Yes,
clothed
I
right
would
now.
massively. And the problem is once you say that, everyone else feels uncomfortable because now they know that I'm uncomfortable. It's like I've just made it uncomfortable for everyone.
Well, let's just say I feel very comfortable.
She feels very comfortable.
Focus
on her.
I feel like Marilyn Monroe. I feel
Yes.
like I don't know. I feel like she had size 42, Größe 42, and so there was a different beauty standard back then, right? There were more curves involved,
Also
and
a lot more cones involved.
yeah.
That was fun.
So yeah, I'm very glad I bought this bikini. Just wanted you all to know that.
Should we talk about why we decided to do this in a bikini in the first place? Because we are talking about literature. One could also be clothed.
Yeah.
There's no rules that say you have to wear a bikini while talking about fine arts and literature.
Yeah. Do you know why?
I can't remember at this point.
Well, no, it was because we wanted to.
It was fun. Like, it was a fun idea at the time. You know how these things happen.
So, well, we
It was
thought.
COVID.
No.
I didn't think this would work.
No, the idea is that, in terms of the patriarchy and in terms of feminism, there's always so much talk about the female body, right?
Yes.
You can't do it right. Like, if you're not wearing enough clothes, you get judged. If you're wearing too many clothes, you get judged. You're either like too free-spirited or not free-spirited enough. So in a way, you can never do it right? And we wanted to not just talk about that, but also have this on a performative level. Like, this awkwardness is like part of the performance, right?
Of course, I'm doing everything right.
You're doing everything right.
I'm doing everything
and
right.
And there's one passage in here where they're talking about the tyranny of the image. So like, you have an image
Of yourself.
like a public image, right? And sometimes it happens that the image gets more love than the private person. Like, if I'm someone who's very good at like looking sexy and like being pretty and everything,
Like Kylie Jenner.
so then I'm performing all this prettiness, but my private persona is maybe not feeling happy or pretty. And so I feel lonely on the inside because only my image is getting all the love, right? So the image is actually tyrannizing me.
Yeah, which is an image that you made yourself. So
Yeah.
it's like your golem is coming back and kicking you in the ass.
Yeah, and because like women or people who are read as female very much have to always perform femininity, it's actually much more a thing that happens to females.
And so we decided to also do this on a professional level, not only privately. We're like, you know what? We're going to tyrannize ourselves in public by doing this talk.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we have like multiple levels of performance right now, right?
What is wrong with us? Why are we doing this?
Oh, well, because
Yeah.
we want to dismantle the patriarchy. It'll fall down. soon.
Dismantling the patriarchy one bikini at a time. It's also it's kind of a discourse. To me, the main fun idea was that it's by a pool because, feminism, well, it's really strenuous. Everyone knows it. No one wants to be one because it's got a bit of a bad reputation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people still associate it with like 90s feminism, which like men were like, ugh, feminists, so unsexy. And so we're like, you know what?
You want to make feminism sexy?
No, that's actually not what I want. I would prefer not to make anything sexy. I'd love to take the sex out of everything which has to do with politics and business.
I think that's where we most agree more.
Really?
Yeah.
Because we're quite different on many other levels. Yeah.
No, that's where we
Like
most disagree.
that's where we must
Yeah,
disagree.
I feel like it's very nice to be sexy, right? It's like a nice thing to have a sexy performance.
Yeah.
Like, and you would prefer to take it out.
No, you know where we disagree most?
Where?
Beyonce's feminism. Yeah. So you can imagine what standpoint I have if I want to take the sex out of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like
No one have any fun.
You know what? So in this book, there's one very nice chapter called Snow White's Mom, right? So you all know the story of Snow White, right? It's Snow White's stepmother usually in the story, where she talks about, she's talking to the mirror and who's the fairest of them all, mirror, mirror on the wall. And at one point the mirror says, oh, it's not you now, it's your daughter. And so she talks about Snow White's mom because the theory is that in fairy tales you can never have the mother be bad, right? The mother always has to be holy and has to be good or dead. And
that is great, and because dead mothers can't be bad anymore.
Yeah.
Because this is a midnight rant, I'm going to quickly go off on a tangent here and just say, the amount of dead mothers in pop culture. My God, it's like, can you just... Because you know what would happen if the mother was still alive? Nothing would go wrong. There'd be no story. She has to die.
That's why they always use the stepmother as to talk about the dark sides of motherhood, right? So that's why, but she calls it Snow White's mom because she actually says, moms are allowed to also have dark sides.
You can want to kill your child. It's many
parents.
Ask any parent. They all want to have.
Yeah, they all want hunters to go hunt their child and rip out their heart.
But maybe not because the kid is cuter than them. Although I do hear, and I hear this from multiple sources, that there are many cases of dads being jealous of children.
Yeah.
Because the children get more attention from the moms.
Oh, yeah. That must be a thing.
That's weird, huh?
Anyway, the point I was trying to make here...
This is a midnight rant, I'm sorry.
...is that then Liv Strömquist interviews all these beautiful women that are over 50, right? So, because what happened to Snow White's mother is that she's aging and suddenly her beauty is not there anymore, right? And so Liv interviewed all these women who talked about what it means to become 50, what it means to not have this young classical beauty anymore. Yeah. And one of them says, and I would really like you to read that part about the Mittelklasse feminist.
About the middle class feminists?
Yeah. So there are different sides to this, right? Some women feel very free when they get older because they feel like they're not caught in the male gaze anymore. And other women feel really sad because they feel like being pretty gave them a reason to be in fun places and also gave them a reason to talk and say things and gave them a reason to also be listened to.
And to take up space.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got this free pass, because you're beautiful, that means you're doing everything right. You can take up some more space.
And I feel like there's a lot of judgment, from us middle class feminists, white feminists also, to say it's not feminist to count on your beauty as a form of power.
Yes, you shouldn't.
And there's this one. Can you just read that quote? Because
I will read this quote from the Evil Ice Princess Queen. It's
yeah.
Queen. Of course, it's a queen. I have to translate loosely because this is in German. It makes me so angry when middle-class feminists get angry about young women who have their breasts operated or their lips pushed or whatever. These are women who might not have any other resources except that they look good. And of course, they are using these resources. Why not? I would kill for my right for a boob job. And these self-righteous moralists can kiss my ass. Beautiful women can completely, regardless of where she comes from and which social status, rise up in society and really have a chance at doing something because her beauty opens doors. And in this sense, beauty has something democratic. Yeah. So I felt very cold because I'm quite judgy about people who have stuff done, mainly because I think if we all didn't have stuff done, it would be more fair. But then she said this and I was like, oh yeah, true.
There's also this thing in here where she says that...
And what is fairness? I mean, come on.
That, yeah, there used to be this idea that, beauty just happens by accident. It just happens. Some people are beautiful, some people are less beautiful. And nobody was like, oh, I can control how beautiful I am. right? It's just something that happens. And so in a way, it's also very democratic because it's like Zufallsprinzip, right? It's like
Zufallsprinzip.
it just happens to some and to others not. It has nothing to do with how rich you are and how poor.
But now we live in a society where we have to work on ourselves permanently.
Yeah.
And we can do the yoga and we can go to the Kegel classes and we can have a facelift and we can do all these things. And it's not even that expensive anymore. It's quite accessible.
So now beauty is actually something that we have to constantly work for.
Or make a conscious choice to not have in our lives. So it's our responsibility again. We can't just say, oh, fuck, I'm cursed by the heavens with this face.
Yeah.
Because you could just change the face. It's like, so why are you unhappy? Just change the face.
And you can buy the cream and you can, it's also a very capitalist idea to like always like want to control everything. Like you can't just have Schicksal just, be there and you just go with it. But you can always work to make things better, right?
Your unhappiness is your own fault.
Yeah.
You're responsible for your happiness.
And let's see if I can get the curve. But what I really like about that is that, in a way, beauty is the opposite of control. Because beauty has so much to do with something that just comes and leaves again. It's like nothing that stays. It's something that, like a flower that just kind of welts. And so if you actually try to control beauty and make beauty happen, you can't even receive it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't resonate anymore.
And the idea of resonating is also described in here. Very nice. Hartmut Rosa. This guy with the face here, this guy very nicely illustrated by Liv Strömquist. He has a beautiful theory about resonance, that the only thing that is truly beautiful is something that does something with you. It's not something you do. It's not about controlling beauty and what Liv then deduces from that is that whenever we try to push ourselves into some sort of an ideal, or when we try to keep the beauty and catch it and make it completely like ours, we're killing the world. She says it killt die Welt für uns.
Yeah.
It kills the world for us, because a part of beauty is that it does something to you which you can't control. If you see a beautiful landscape, you can't take it home. It's just there in that moment, and then 2 minutes later the sun's gone and that was it.
So that really stuck with me, because I feel like there are very few moments where I'm actually open to having that resonance and to having things change me. Like, when in your life do you have time to just perceive beauty?
To just perceive beauty?
Yes, and just let it change you.
Well, no, I hate to sound like a capitalist. You can do it all yourself, but you can train yourself to be more open to beauty.
Do you do that in your life?
I feel like living in the now. So I read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Recommended to me. Very, very good book. And it's all about being in the fucking moment.
Isn't that also very capitalist?
Because because in the moment I'm not buying anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm not earning money at this, well, technically, but not really. Like, there's nothing happening right now except that you guys are here. We're here. I still feel awkward. I should really not look at people's faces so much. I'm going to just look ahead into a blank distance. But it's about the more you're in the now, the more you're actually living. Because if you're not in the now, you're either in the past or in the future. You're either thinking about shit that happened that you cannot change anymore, or you're thinking about things that haven't happened yet, which you might not have any control over. But in the now, look how beautiful this pool is.
But like, in the now, aren't you so busy with being in the now that you can't even look at anything else?
No, look at this. We have so many lovely things.
Is this changing you forever? Like, the beauty of this?
Oh, when have you ever been changed forever by beauty? It's a momentary thing. Or give me a little if you've been changed by beauty forever. Oh no, I have to yeah, okay. Give me a little if beauty has actually changed a part of you. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're all better humans than you are.
Yeah. No, I also hummed. I just didn't realize that I was just saying something that I can't even stand behind. So that's nice. So there's momentary beauty, sure. But I remember that beauty that changed me happened in a moment.
Can you tell us about that moment?
Yes, it was a lovely moment. I remember it was the dawn of 1990. 2000 and something.
Okay.
And I was a teenager and I was walking through nature and I hated nature. And I had a moment, it was winter and there was a branch and the branch had like frost on it. and there was like Eiszapfen, icicles hanging from the branch, and I was listening to the soundtrack of A Girl with a Pearl Earring by Alexandre Desplat, and I had a moment with nature, and I didn't hate nature anymore.
And
So there you go.
so that relationship stuck with you for until now? The
Yes.
relationship with nature?
Yes, it was cold and uncomfortable, but it was beautiful. So fuck whatever I just said. Can't remember what I said, but I definitely didn't say that. Did you have a moment of beauty that changed you forever?
I'm trying to think. No, I actually feel quite caught because I feel like I have broken down my life into a to-do list. My life, like I would write into my to-do list, like
Enjoy
make
beauty.
space for beauty.
But that's beautiful. Why not?
Because then it becomes just another task.
Ah,
Like
because you're controlling beauty again.
yeah, I write in my to-do list, like free float, have time to do nothing. Like, isn't that like, it can't work like that. It
But
shouldn't
is it our
work
only
like
choice?
I don't know.
Oh wait, can you remember a moment where beauty struck you and you were like, whoa, didn't plan this happening?
Yeah, probably when my son was born.
Yeah, there you go. See, you didn't really have time for that and it happened anyway.
Well, I did make time for giving birth to him.
That's good. I'm glad you made time for giving birth.
I put it in my schedule, like giving
Give
birth to my child.
I'm glad. Otherwise, he'd still be there.
Yeah, like he just would have got
Gotten
stuck
bigger
in my
and
body forever.
Yeah, and then there was that moment, and
Yeah,
he
I looked into his eyes, and I felt like in his eyes, he could still see into all other worlds as well as ours.
Babies can't see when they're born.
What do you mean they can't see?
They can't really
They can't see our world. They can see all the other worlds.
Ah, the interior world. I was also just joking. Anyway, okay. So moments of beauty. Do we want to give a little audience run here because who's been touched by beauty recently?
It's like a hard question to answer.
Is it though? It can be small things. It
Very
can be
personal.
like I had a great sandwich this morning. That's great. No?
Anyone want to share?
Is anybody in love? Hint, hint. No, nobody's in love in this whole room. I give up. I'm out of here. I'm not performing for you guys. Come on. Everybody's in love.
Let's talk about mimetic desire.
Oh, that's a bit of a... Okay.
I just felt like we've talked about beauty in this way. Now
Okay.
let's switch the subject.
Mimetic desire is a good one to have a midnight rant about because mimetic desire is basically just like... That's the whole Kylie Jenner chapter of this book.
So mimetic desire, the concept is that we actually we as human beings have no idea what we desire, right? So we don't know what we want. And we used to like kind of know what we should want because there were like all these morals and Christianity and everything. And now, since like a lot of stuff is supposedly like free for all, or we have no clue what we want. So what we do to figure out what we want is we just watch other people and see what they want, people that we, that are idols for us. And then we just copy them. So now we are obviously idols for all of you because we're amazing. And that means that you all now want to perceive beauty in your life because that's what we do. Or you want to write to-do lists, depending on who you like more.
Or you write to-do lists about perceiving beauty, which I think is a very good middle way. I'm all about that compromise.
Or they're all about the icicles now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what else is it in your life that you desire because other people that you idolize desire it?
So is it about like being jealous of stuff?
Yeah, it's like, so for example, since like a couple of, or maybe like a year, like the tops that you can see the belly are in again. So now I also always want to wear these tops where you can see the belly. And it's like mostly very young people, but I still want it. I want it because it's fashion, right? That's how fashion works.
Yeah, fashion does work like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bitch. I definitely dress to appear like an under 30-year-old. However, I don't think I'm pulling it off.
It also just changes so quickly. Like 1 minute you think like röhrli jeans, tight jeans are disgusting. Then you see 3 people wearing it and suddenly you want the jeans.
Yeah, I actually know someone who really was in the röhrli jeans kind of fraction. Yeah, for quite a long time.
Like, do any of you have an example like that? Like you thought something was super ugly and then you saw 3 people and then you're like, I need that, I want that.
Like, do you know those
Crocs? Very good example.
Oh, very good example.
I want Crocs too. And
You want Crocs?
Yes, I want them, but
I'm leaving.
no, but this is perfect because I want them, but also, and this is also in the book.
You do know that they're ugly, though. You can rationally, you can
I
see.
think they're cool. I cannot. The ration is gone.
It's gone?
Yes, but also, and here's the clue. So I know that I want them because someone who I think is cool is wearing them. And that's why. Lisa Christ.
Ah, fuck. Okay. One person.
Yeah, it's enough. It's enough. Anyway, but now I'm never going to buy them because I don't want to be part of that system. I don't want to admit to myself that all I ever want is mimetic.
Oh no, do you think I secretly want Crocs, but I don't admit it to myself?
Only you can answer that.
I do not.
Well, I do, but so that's what happens is like we want something, but then we're like, no, this is not cool. I'm not part of this game because we're in a rivalry situation, right? Yeah. So we
that's a bit like with the Botox though, huh? I'm so against Botox because I don't want to be in rivalry with that. Yes, yeah, that's why I'm so judgy about it.
Because you secretly want it?
I don't think I'm just afraid that I might have to do it.
Why would you have to do Botox?
Because everyone else is doing Botox.
How does that concern you?
Well, are we social animals living in a society or not? I don't know. It's a lot about, one thing we haven't talked about yet, which is in the book, which is a big part of the book, is fuckability.
Okay, so you want to stay fuckable?
I mean, why does someone get Botox? I'm asking this because I know I'm a judgy middle-class feminist. We discussed this before. I'm not ashamed. I'm a judgy middle-class feminist. I'm sure there are other reasons other than trying to stay young and attractive, but you'd have to tell me because I don't know. I'm sure there are other reasons.
Well, there's a theory about that in the book.
Okay.
So it used to be that you only needed to stay pretty until you got, like in the 40s, let's say, you only needed to stay pretty and fuckable until you got married, right? Once you were married, you got stuck with marriage.
Do you also hate the term fuckable? I really hate the term fuckable.
You brought it up.
Only because it's in the book.
Okay. Marriage, a long time ago, it happened for political reasons or for like...
you have this farm, I have this farm, our cows should meet.
Stuff like that. And then like the nuclear family and industrialization happened. And then
bad idea.
And then it became mostly economic. So you had to stay together for economic reasons, right? So then in that era, women or people read as women had to only be pretty until they got married. And after that, divorce was not an option. So they could just like let themselves go.
Thanks to Christianity.
And an economy, I guess. And today, there is no other reason to be in a relationship or to get married than to desire each other, right? So...
On many levels.
More or less, yeah.
I was actually more cynical in the lead up to this talk about this than Leah was. She convinced me there are more levels.
No, well, yes, the desire is on many levels, but the economic pressure and the moral pressure is certainly deflated a lot.
That's off. And the problem is that women have jobs now. Yeah, we've got
definitely
money.
A problem.
Big problem.
But my point was that, let's see if I can still get it together. So now we have to stay fuckable even after we're in a relationship. So it doesn't stop. We just have to stay because at any time our partner could leave us. And then we're doomed. Then we're screwed, right? So this thing of being sexy, being presentable, being pretty, you just have to always work for it all the time, and you can never give up
forever.
And then like in post era or whatever we are now, it has become its own value. Like it's not even about the relationship now, but it's just like its own value of status. Like it's become independent of any reason.
Do you think even a completely asexual, aromantic person would still compete in this grand race of fuckability?
Yeah, and that's why you want Botox.
I don't, though.
But you do.
Let it be known to the jury. I'm pretty sure I don't.
But you think you have to.
No, I'm just worried that if everyone gets it, I'm going to have to get it to
Yeah.
compete in the shitty race.
Exactly, because it's become its own value. That's what I'm saying.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. So who else is afraid of having to get Botox someday? Go,
You're alone with that one.
Let me try it differently. Who already has Botox? Give me a Now, I think they're lying. Statistically, you're lying in one or the other question. I don't know which one it is, but I don't trust you guys. I still love you, but I don't trust you. That's possible. That is possible, yeah. Okay, so in this range of there's no reason to be forced to be together, is it then still... I mean, Liv Strömquist has a bunch of great books. She's got a book called Ich fühl's nicht, I don't feel it, which is all about being in a relationship at all in this day and age. And like, why would you? And why can't you just get like a better partner? And why not just like replace your partners every year so that you keep it fresh? Also a very nice book. Do you think that's the direction we're heading? Actually, no, because we talked about a lot of people who just got married recently.
Yes.
So that's still happening, and they're all not very Christian.
No, and it always feels weird to me when people get married nowadays. I'm always like, why are you doing that? It's not even good for taxes.
Yeah, there's literally no reason other than false hope of stability. Ooh.
Ah, yeah.
Is anyone married in here? Give us a Like, I feel like we'd really be singling out this person now if we asked them something. Would anyone like to get married? Give me a Oh, they see the wish is still here.
You should like meet each other afterwards.
Yeah. I should have done it with a raise of hands.
Because there will be,
Yeah.
So
the desire for stability and love is still here. Okay. Who would be prepared to get Botox to then get married?
you're really just alone on the Botox, Jane. You have to let it go.
I know, I'm riding that dead pony. I'm riding a dead pony.
You're riding it hard.
I don't know, it's just an interesting point. It's just because this evil queen in the book, she really got me thinking how judgy I am.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'll think about it in private. I can tell this is the wrong place. That's the wrong place.
I mean, it's a lot. We're in Switzerland. It's like people are, they're not very public about things.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'll never know. I mean, write us a DM at 9volt Nelly on Instagram if you decide to share your feelings with us retrospectively.
How are we on the time?
How are we on the time? Okay, this would be a great time to open for audience questions or questions from us to you. Does anyone have a comment? I feel like all my teachers in every school I've ever been. It's like everyone's here, everyone's like, no, we're here with you. And there's nothing that happens. Well, I mean, we have questions for you. We could keep on with that.
Does anyone have a thought? Is there something? Yeah.
No, I was just wondering because earlier you were talking about capitalism and feminism, and you kind of were, or maybe I just thought it, but it seems like you were also connecting these two things to each other, in a sense. Could you maybe elaborate on that?
Well, I wouldn't say they're connected. I mean, they are connected because they exist in the same space. I don't think they're friends, though.
Just because I think that in the debate on feminism, it is like starting to rise. A lot of people are like saying, okay, the system has to change, so we need to go against capitalism or something to like kind of work on that. So I was wondering if you were going to that direction or not.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely has to change. Capitalism is I think in its core, it created like the whole, how do you say Sesshaftigkeit in English? When people stopped being nomads and started being in one
all the way back
place.
there.
Yeah, because we need to get to the beginning of what is property. Property happens when you can actually be in a space by yourself, when you can control objects and land, and then you also start controlling people, and that's when women start really becoming objects, I think, the way I read all my books, that was a pretty bad idea to start treating women and your family as an object and as a value. So the base, it's just been around really long, which is why we've got slightly different attitudes. I think we probably can't get out of capitalism, so we have to make it as good as possible, as comfortable as possible. Leah, however, thinks we should completely eradicate capitalism.
Oh yes, very much.
Yeah.
And I think capitalism and the patriarchy are also like very much connected, and they're both systems of exploitation, right? So we for example, the whole economy only works because we're constantly exploiting all kinds of care work. I believe that this is like going very far away from Liv now, but I believe that like all the care that are like, you know, taking care of children, taking care of elder people, taking care of emotions of everyone around us. These are all things that is the basis of our living together. And because none of it is paid, everything else can survive. And I think like if there would be a re-evaluation of care and of everything, and we would make that more of a focus, which is a feminist topic, then capitalism could not survive. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, it makes total sense. The question is, how do we do it?
You know, I read this, we're going way off topic, but I read this transformation, like a person who's researching on transformation, and she's like, we have to stop thinking that everything will change while we're still alive. Like we have to start thinking in bigger timelines. Like the work that we're doing now, maybe we won't see the fruits of our outcome on this generation, but maybe like 2 or 3 generations ahead. So we have to stop like being so like, that's also a consumerist mentality, right? Just always like, I need to see the outcome of my activism right now. No, it takes a long time. Like we're setting the seeds and they have to grow first, you know? You can't just pick the apple without letting the tree grow.
And I think we've already come astoundingly far from like my mother not having her own bank account to us having our own podcast. I think we're doing pretty good for ourselves. I think we're doing pretty well. But yeah, it takes a lot of time. It really takes a lot of time.
Yeah, you have to be patient.
And you have to first explain to people why it should change. And I think a lot of people now are on the level that we understand, okay, it should change because, I mean, the whole care work is one of the major, like the core elements of the whole discussion. It's just like, how can we free finter people or people read as women who are child carers from the entire pressure that society puts on them to provide new society? Because it's kind of like a free service that's offered to keep everything going. And right now we should be having more kids because, you know, everything's going shit, and the AHV is like, oh, you know, so we should actually be having more kids, but there's really no reason to. So the state should be paying loads of money to anyone who actually has a kid.
Yeah, the only reason is beauty.
The only reason to have a kid is beauty? Oh, what if you have an ugly kid though?
Then you're screwed. Then you're screwed.
Then you're like, well, shit.
Any other thoughts? Questions, ideas, something you want to share?
Thoughts on feminism? Enjoy the silence. You never know. You know, sometimes someone's then like, you know,
If you wait long enough.
we'll wait long enough. Or if we just say we're only going to finish once we have one more input from the audience, that is a threat. Should we?
Yes. Wait, let's hand you the microphone.
The microphone, by the way, it's not for the crowd, it's for the podcast. So that's why we... Can you pass?
Do you maybe have an opinion on the new movie Barbie that's in the cinemas right now? And I think it's quite popular, and I would be interested in your opinion.
Yes, I have a lot of opinions about that movie.
I sadly didn't see it yet. I planned to twice and it didn't work.
So,
Take it away.
what I really liked about the movie is that I thought it was very funny. And I feel like a lot of people think that feminism can't be funny. And I feel that feminism can be very funny. It's actually like my main goal in life, I would say, is to have funny and feminism go together. So on that level, I really liked that movie. I liked that it kind of made funny feminism mainstream. And at the same time, of course, it's very problematic because it's basically just one huge ad campaign for Mattel. And they're making so much money off of it. And I really had to like pace myself to not buy the Knuff sweater. I was like, I really want the Knuff sweater. So for those who haven't seen the movie, it's like, and it's also problematic that Ken is the funniest character. Like his whole journey of like.
No, does the man get to be funny again?
Yeah, he has no like spoiler. Spoiler for everyone who hasn't seen it. Close your ears now.
No, I want to know.
Because he has no power because Barbie Land is a matriarchy. And then he discovers patriarchy in the real world, and then he makes Barbie Land into patriarchy. And then in the end, he realizes that's not the right way. And then he realizes he's, as himself, is Knuff.
That's cute, though. That's good. Yeah. But that's just a side story, right? Don't buy the
sweater. Like, if you want the sweater, just knit it yourself. Don't buy from Mattel. They're evil corporates, and they make themselves look funny, but they're evil.
They're still capitalist as fuck. Like, no matter how cute the movie and no matter how much Greta Gerwig was directing it.
I mean, I don't think they make themselves look good.
No, but that's like the trick, right?
That's the authenticity trap.
That's the authenticity trap, yeah.
Oh, because that's also in this book. Last side note. I know we're already, yeah.
Yeah, like they're making fun of themselves and making themselves look a little bad, and then we think, oh, you know, they're cool, they're honest, and then they can keep on making their millions and exploiting everybody, and we think they're cool because they're being honest about themselves. And that's a very capitalist trick. Is like capitalism has like taken authenticity and made it work for them. Authenticity has become consumable, and it's a problem. Should we end here?
Let's end on authenticity is a product. Yeah.
Like us, like we're being authentic and we're just a product, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, this is not real, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But it's nice that you were here.
Yes.
It's nice that we got to do this 3 times in the Strauhof here. That's fantastic. Yeah, now I feel weird saying follow us on the blah, blah, blah. So just, I don't know, if you're interested, just Google us. Like Google isn't capitalist. Like, yeah, just Google us. I'm saying nothing. It's over now.
No, and we will get changed. We'll put on some more clothes and we will be out at the bar if you want to have a talk. And if there's something that comes to your mind in a more private setting, we'll be out there and we would like to have a discussion some more. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.